Ningavumi.
We are back. We are back. We are back.
I think Sis Nande, la question yam, Leben said people don't like that question. Now
Yes.
internet has so yeah, I think let's go.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
and ubusasicacizela kakuhle kamadi ba uSis Nande ngubani na. So masiphinda sibuyele la question ngubani ke uSis Nande Hadebe.
Okay, man, I think mangiqale ekuqaleni.
Eh.
Apho bendithe, I think you realize a new you with a growth process.
Yes.
But me, I've always been Nande wazalelwa kaJele eDuka kulala eThethaleni. I moved up to Joburg to find further my education and find a job, and then I found love. Kubhuti wase KZN.
Come on, girl.
Kulapho ke ndijikile naye kuba ngunande Jele nangunande Hadebe. Ndinabantwana bayi-2, omnye una-9, omnye una-3. Sihlala sonkeni apha endlini, singabantu abazithandela uphuma phandle. We really enjoy outdoor activity. We are praying family, and we really like take parting in progress, teaching our kids to read, and just enlightening them about the world that they live in.
Progress. I absolutely love that. And perhaps before we get into your journey in terms of the details, let's talk about how you got to this point. You are now the South African, Mrs. South Africa rather, finalist, which is absolutely exciting. Congratulations on that achievement. Congratulations. Yes. But now, why enter Mrs. South Africa?
Yeah.
I think generally as career yam ndikwa marketing, and I think there's always a need to grow and progress oneself in different aspects. And I'll be honest to say, part of the reason I started looking at different avenues besides my mainstream and 9 to 5 was just the need to find a better me. And I thought I should take it upon myself to do that. So no one was going to come to me and say, Nande, you're needing to grow in this aspect. And perhaps you can't get everything in one place. So I needed to put myself out there. And I felt I was also a bit young to start feeling there's some sort of a ceiling. I knew that there's a bigger world out there, and I'm fortunate to have access to resources to explore what else is out there for me. So this was really a need for me to grow myself, get out of my shell, see what else the world has for me. And so obviously I needed to also look at a program that speaks to me, and I understood Mrs. South Africa as a woman empowerment program more than it is a competition. And I knew that there's a number of very strong progressive women, and I wanted to surround myself with that group of women.
I love it. So every finalist, Sis Nande, has a message that they want to share. Man, uSis Nande ke ngoku awine Mrs. South Africa. Yintoni le ufuna abantu bayazi? When you get this platform, what do you want to get out of it as uSis Nande?
Iskakhulu, maybe back to rights that yourself, Aya Nosia, had spoken about, one of it, which is access. Iskakhulu, I really want to highlight indaba access, especially to izinto ezifana digital infrastructure. There's a very big narrative in South Africa, ethi abantu bayonqena. So people don't want to work because they're just lazy. And I want to highlight that isn't true. From where I come from, a bulk of the people don't have access to basic internet endling. And how do you then expect to compete with abantu who come from first world countries and have access to right at the comfort of their homes? Also, just umzekelo is what happened during COVID. There was a quick decision for abantwana bathi study from the comfort of their homes. This was easy for the minority of South African students, but there's a child eduka Italian laptop who cannot afford data. But then when they get to matric, who passed
So
and I just want to really highlight that that's not fair. Yes, I understand that there's a need to drive profit with our big firms that are responsible for providing infrastructure, but there's also supposed to be consideration for ensuring that abantwana progress at a fair level. So that's really something I want to bring to light, that there's a massive digital gap, and I'm just one of the very few abantwana baseTaleni who got out of that. I also want to just highlight that not everyone wants to move to Joburg. Not everyone wants to build a life here, but then a bulk of the people are forced because landela apho ngathi bomi buhamba khona. But if those basic things are afforded to us, like you said, water, electricity, internet, then we can also create a world of our own from ezilalini and just be as successful.
Woo!
I love it. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You know, I think Masimni ke woko. Where's the crown? Where's the crown, everyone?
Just as we're speaking on your journey, how has your journey been? Obviously, you are now a finalist. Just take us through where it started right up until this particular point, and just going forward, if there's any voting that we may need to do, if there's anything that we may need to do, how do we get on the Mrs. Nande Hadebe train? But briefly, just speak about how your journey has been from the beginning to this point as a finalist for Mrs. South Africa.
Okay, so the beginning, I think, goes back to June 2021 when I started slowly getting myself out of my shell. I'll be honest to say it was a very scary decision to make. I wrote my script for entry video and just camped it for the longest while. And then I think I recorded my entry video sometime in October last year, and I also camped that. So there was a big to do it, to not do it, because it's always very difficult to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
But I finally submitted my submission in January this year, and I was fortunate enough to get the call on the 28th of February. And then I think from then on, my life just took a 360 because the following weekend was a 2-day workshop with 100 of us. So there's 100 of us women who are selected as semi-finalists, which was overwhelming, but it was a jam-packed 2 days on personal branding, on how we develop ourselves, on how we draft business proposals, and just everything that's anything. And I think what stood out for me is the energy I had in that 2 days. I literally was up from 4. I was at the workshop from 7, attentively listening up until 6, and I knew that there was a hunger within me to grow, and I was happy to have found a place that fulfills that. Part of the journey means that we are learning to network, we're learning to host, we're learning to draft proposals ourselves, etc. And it's been very everything but out of the comfort zone. But I've also, I think most importantly, been overwhelmed by the love and support that I received from people, from just seeing my picture out there and rooting for me. And I felt that I'm doing something right, so let me keep at it. Because there are days when you're like, a 9 to 5, this journey, my husband, and kids, and I'm also a student. You're like, okay, which one should I drop? But I think I have an army of really supportive people that are keeping me going.
Oh, that's
the
so special.
journey is a year-long one, and my plead is that you keep me up until November, because in June we start cutting down the numbers. So the walk stage is June, but that comes really after a series of hard work.
Okay. So ithini sisinande, do we vote or ikhona into efuneka siyenzile nje thina as abaphulaphuli nabantu abakuthandayo banqolela hayi mina ndithi crown mabe yakho, so abana no ke sisinande ba thini ke as uaya
as uaya ungavota u-SMS uNande Hadebe to 47587. Enye indlela ivote ezibala ngayo, if uya kwi-Instagram page kaMrs South Africa and you follow them, you'll find me. I look exactly like this, same hairstyle, same everything. You'll find my face and you just like that. It also counts as a vote. And then you...
Was it 479?
47587.
Okay. 47587. Okay.
Yes, Nande Hadebe. You can SMS as many times as you want. The lines are opened up until June.
Right.
Amazing.
I must ask, you mentioned that you're a student, you're a mother.
Yeah.
How are you juggling everything? I know you mentioned that you have you've got all the support that you need, but how are you balancing everything?
I've had to learn to sleep, and I know maybe it's bad advice from a health perspective, but I've had to learn to sleep a little less than I used to.
Okay.
I understand that this is an investment for the future me, so I've given up a few hours of sleep. I've also learned to decline some social outings, and I appreciate my friends and that social aspect, but I think it's what I need to sacrifice for now to get to where I'm going. So there's a lot of sacrifices along the way. I also do read some books in between, but I've sort of parked that. And then it's something I will catch on when I get gaps. I will be honest to say TV, I probably don't even know where remote like
Yes.
TV when I go on Twitter, and then I'm like, oh, okay, there's something happening. But about TV stuff and other things, I just get highlights on social media. So there's a lot I've had to cut off. Every now and then, my husband has to survive on takeaways, but I do make time.
Man.
Do it right when I do cook.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
That's amazing. I think also this, I love the fact that you are married and you was but it doesn't mean I'm not gonna go after my dreams.
Chase after my dreams.
You know, because a lot, I'm not married, but I can see it. But a lot of women, but you know. So I love that this is actually empowering other women who are married. But no, go after your dreams. It doesn't mean when you're married now you must pause. Go for it. So I love that. You know,
exactly. And I think if anything, umntu wakho abe part and parcel of your dreams.
yes.
You'll be shocked how much
That's very
support they actually want to give you when you invite them.
Yeah.
Okay, so like 2 questions. Okay, this one question I must ask. What is it about you that mhlawumbe something that you do okanye something that oyenza mhlawumbe wedwa mhlawumbe to uzivise kamandi that no one may know about or mhlawumbe a characteristic that xa sikujongile singathi hayi bo nyhani sisinande but that one piece of information that may not necessarily be obvious to people, but it's that one thing that you have to do for yourself or maybe a characteristic.
I don't know if it's unique to me, but ningumuntu othandayo uncokola nami esipilini.
Yes, love it. Love it.
No, ndiyancokola nami, shame. I will unpack a conversation in full detail with myself. So I think it also gives me perspective of how I come across to people. So if I'm saying like, whether it's a bad day or whatnot, and I'm feeling really bad about myself, no, but this is not who you are. This is not the definition of Nandi. Nam this nje.
Yes,
So
I love it.
but not in a bad way. I know you.
I love it. I love it, Sister. I think I'm gonna adopt that strongest feeling and talk to myself. I love it.
Yeah, and then maybe let's just read a few comments before I ask the last question. Nanku you go, girl. We are behind you. And then we also have okay. Absolutely love this. Perhaps before we part ways, as Nande, what piece of wisdom or something that you have learned, maybe in your journey or in life, or that you would like to put up on the day?
I think what has been so it is ourselves a lot to give a token room for us, but it has to come from within. So for instance, after passing my matric, and for many reasons, and for a while then until when I got a permanent job and my company sent me back to school, I decided I will do it all the way through to my honors. And that's the second time I decided I will give myself without waiting for Umdu to keep saying, une potential, why you it has to really start with you, and then the universe starts responding when you say, okay, decision, but I'm gonna go again, because life can be long. And that's really what I'd want to leave with the next person.
Give yourself a second chance.
Love it.
Absolutely amazing. Mrs. Nande Hadebe, thank you so much for your time. We are looking forward to see where your journey will end up. We are rooting for you 100%. We wish you, above all, we wish you all the best. And hopefully we'll see you right at the top. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, kisses.
That was amazing. Woo! That was amazing.
Powerhouse.
No, she is.
Powerhouse.
I love the layer. Atiba. We need to forgive ourselves.
Give yourself a second chance.
And
give yourself a second chance. Disappointment. Dust yourself off and move on. I love the level of relatability. We can relate to her. Each and every one of us can relate to a point in our lives where we may have fallen short, and the easiest thing was to just give up. But I think we're able to dust it off. Opportunity. You know what? I'm not going to let this chance go. This is another opportunity for me to make myself proud. Affirmation, but also, you know what? Hey! The empowered rights.
So jonga inamhlanje. Uba empowanga and yes.
Hey, 2 minutes past 11. You're still tuned in to Keith Ngesi Radio. Moments of Truth with Usiba Makeleni. Ehamba kunye nexesha nelihle uIQ from Tanzania. Hi. Man, and we have officially entered the last hour. Of the show. Reflect on our, as we all know, Human Rights Day. We were reflecting on we were reminding, our listeners and our viewers, basic human rights. The rights that you have as a human. With every right comes a responsibility. So right to ensure that at no particular point of form do you infringe on someone else's rights. So we have a responsibility to each other for one another, just like that. Maskesiye kwimix yethu yanamhlanje. Maskesiye 3 imizuzu emva kwentsimbi. Yes, 11.
Yes, 11.
Kumandi yeah, man.
And now, South African music at its best. You're listening to the sound.
Sound good together, huh?
We're social. Check us out on Facebook.
Keith Ngesi Radio.